Why is the world so scared of women?
Society is still quite scared of a confident woman, of a powerful woman, people who say that they like confident women until that confidence becomes in any way inconvenient to them. I don't have to factor in how is the world going to treat me, or am I going to face judgment or harassment. It's literally like a daily, let me put my armor on before I go out into the world. That's exhausting. However, I do believe that you accept the love you believe you deserve. As women, we need to prove to ourselves that we are capable of ending the relationship. As Glennon Doyle says, you can do hard things and you will survive it.
There are days you feel powerful in your little revolutions, and there's days that you don't.
Women need to stop having sex with sexist men.
Hey there guys, and welcome back to Finding Your Casual Magic. I'm Jade, and on this podcast we discuss how to find beauty in the mundane things every day, rather than waiting for the birthdays, the job promotion, the big achievements in life. How can we find beauty right here, right now, in every day? Today's episode is a special one because we are digging into something I am so passionate about, and that is how to take up space, especially as a woman. We're going to be digging into one of the most virulent and just self-destructive emotions of all time, which is shame. How shame keeps us small, how it makes us feel like we don't deserve more, and how it can just really rob us of our authenticity. And today I'm bringing on a guest who I have admired for such a long time. I've been following her online for a while. We've almost like vaguely crossed paths at events, but I've never been able to like just sit down and have a deep dive into her mind. Jayne Crabbe, she is incredible. She's just written this wonderful book called We Don't Make Ourselves Smaller Here. If you're watching the video, you can see this gorgeous pink cover on screen. And we're going to dig into all sorts of themes, from shame around our bodies, our sexuality, relationships, you know, how we maybe don't advocate for our needs. I just know that Megan's personality is going to make these topics shine through in a way that is going to provide us with so much wisdom and insight. So, without further ado, Megan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, and bless you. That was such a lovely introduction.
Of course. Do you know what? It's so easy to hype you up because I feel like you're just a sunshine.
Oh, I feel the same way about you.
Thanks.
Besties?
That's a mutual hype. The hype. Megan, we start every episode with two little mindful rituals. Mm-hmm. The first is that I would love to play us a voice note from one of our listeners.
Cute.
And they're going to tell us just a moment of casual magic.
I love that. Yay.
This is from Michaela.
Hi Jade, it's Michaela from South Africa. My casual magic actually happened as soon as I peeked through my curtains beside my bed this morning. I opened my curtains and saw the clouds outside. The sun was hitting them just at the right angle so that you can see them glow. You know, stereotypical golden edge or silver lining as they call it. This week has been quite a storm, both with others around me and personally. It's been quite heavy to bear. This was just like the calm after a particularly bad storm. I slowly started picking up the pieces of a storm I had last night. There is no way to erase the past. It's taking tiny steps each day. Sometimes it's a big step or two, and other times it's barely a crawl. Of course, there is another storm brewing just behind the horizon. It's up to you to breathe, even when it hurts. Simply inhaling and exhaling. If I didn't look out of my window at that exact moment, I wouldn't have been able to appreciate the calm after the storm.
Oh,
That was lovely.
That was really lovely.
Also wise.
So
Michaela is wise.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn, thank you for that, Michaela. Like, I feel like that's the kind of voice note that someone listening will appreciate, you know? This like waiting for the calm after a storm.
Yeah. Also, that's inspired me because I'm like, I should send my friends voice notes like that. I feel like voice notes shouldn't just be every time just like this is what's happening in my life dump. They could just send nice little inspiring things.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, I saw something today that was just really beautiful, and like, here's what it reminded me I love that. And the second ritual is I would love to invite all of you guys listening and you, Megan, to just take about 60 seconds with me to breathe, to just become more present wherever you are. If you're listening to this and you're commuting or you're on a bike or whatever, no pressure to close your eyes, but maybe you can take a moment to check in with your surroundings. If you feel comfortable to, gently close your eyes. Start to check in with your breathing. Is your breath long? Is it short? Does it come easily? However your breathing is, try not to judge it. As you bring your attention there, can you gently try to elongate your breath? Start to imagine your breath as energy. Imagine with your inhale that you're expanding and taking up space. Imagine your lungs filling up with all this fresh air, and as you exhale, relax into space. Feel your heart expanding with every breath. And breathe into your authenticity. When you're ready, we're going to take one final deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out through your mouth. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Welcome to the episode.
Yay.
How do you feel now?
I feel very relaxed. I'm not sure I've ever been so relaxed to record a podcast.
I feel like because often I go on podcasts and there's almost this moment, right, where you sit in the chair, you put the lights on, the cameras are on you, you feel this adrenaline of like, okay, I need to perform, I need to say wise things.
Yes.
And so I hope that there's this check-in moment where it's like, there's no pressure, you know, you don't have to like be anything, you can just bring yourself.
That is both beautiful and like somewhat intimidating or scary because I think I thrive under the like lights, camera, action.
Fascinating.
Say wise things. So now I'm like, am I too relaxed?
You're like, what am I going to say? Like, what state has Jade tricked me into?
I embrace this.
Megan, I'd love to get us started. You talk a lot about how we make ourselves small in the world and how much of that is influenced by culture, patriarchy, centuries of society, essentially kind of being scared of women, right? And the power of women. They want to make us small. So I would love to ask you, why is the world so scared of women?
Start with a nice gentle question. Most people say, how are you?
We're going in.
I love women. I think that women are phenomenal forces for good. And I suspect that at the root of patriarchy, men know this, are intimidated by this, not to boil it down to biology because women are more than their body parts, but historically, I think men will have looked at women, seen creators of life, and thought, what do we gotta get some power in this equation, and so built patriarchy for their benefit and for them to have power over. I think now society is still quite scared of a confident woman, of a powerful woman. We have these narratives and we see it online quite a lot. People who say that they like confident women, and they do until that confidence becomes in any way inconvenient to them, or means they have to sacrifice anything or reckon with something uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like confidence as something to look at, almost to admire,
Right.
as something to like feed off of. When that confidence takes up space in a way that encroaches on your space in any way, then
Or
it's like,
steps outside, I think, what you think a confident woman should look like primarily. Like, it's totally okay for like Taylor Swift to be confident on a stage,
Yeah.
but God forbid Lizzo do it.
Yeah.
And then the reactions are wildly
real. Yeah. Like Lizzo singing a song like I love my body, right? But the body that she occupies is one that people don't expect her to be confident in.
Exactly.
It's a problem.
And it jars. It jars with their preconceptions.
Yeah.
And, you know, people like to have people in boxes and say this type of person is this type of person is that. And anyone who dares to break out of that, it is intimidating their, you know, lens of the world. And people don't want to sit with that. So they double down and then they're like, no, get back in your box.
And at what point do you think women started letting themselves be in that box? Prioritizing palatability over honoring themselves?
Oh gosh, I mean, historically, culturally, like I'm not sure. I think for me, sometimes even now, I wonder, would my life be easier if I didn't turn every day into a defiance against cultural norms? Even things as small as, well, I know I would get less judgment from the world if I shaved my armpits.
100%.
You know, I'm a pansexual woman. I'm currently in a relationship with a woman. I know that my life would be easier and again have less judgment if I were to be in a relationship with a man. All these little things like refusing to diet to shrink my body and refusing to keep my voice to myself and my political opinions to myself, you know, these choices that I make in order to honor my own integrity and who I am, some days are tiring. Some days you don't want to fight against the status quo and everything around you. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and I never want to point at women who don't identify as feminists or don't go against, you know, the patriarchal expectations because, babe, it's a lot. Like it can feel like a real ongoing battle and sometimes you kind of want to tap out. Do you ever feel like that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of questions I want to ask around like body hair in particular, because for me, I was very intentional in wanting to grow out my armpit hair at one point because I hated how terrified I was for people to see, you know, this like little bluff that is literally natural that grows on my skin just as it does for literally every other human. And I hated the power that it had over me, this fear of it being seen. And so in choosing to grow it out, it was like, it was honoring myself and like, you know, who I am naturally. But my God, the stares that you get, you know, at the gym. Like I lived in Clapham Junction. I don't know if you know about Clapham. I didn't know the stereotypes of Clapham before I lived there.
Okay, yeah.
It's like very white, kind of like more privileged vibes, a lot of like investment bankers. No hate to anyone who is white privileged or an investment banker, but like it just was, I don't know, the vibes in the yoga studio were quite, I don't know, just the common classic mainstream beauty aesthetic, which in many ways I can blend into very well. You know, I'm a cis white woman. I'm quite like skinny and stuff, so it's easy in that sense
until you raise your arms.
Until I raise my arms, right? And I have this like mass of thick curly black hair, and I just remember, you know, the stares, the like little jolts of surprise from people, and it is exhausting. There are days you feel powerful in your little revolutions, and there's days that you don't. Yeah. So I really very much relate to that. It's hard when it's so personal. It's like your existence. It's like your personal choices. It is a fight against the status quo, but it's like so linked to like who you are and what you want to be.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, it's also, it's one thing for both of us to feel that way about having body hair. Like you said, I also, to an extent, I guess out and about can blend in because I guess I could pass as straight. I'm mixed race, black and white, but I'm light skin, so I don't have to factor in how is the world going to treat me, or am I going to face judgment or harassment or, you know, prejudice out in the world every single day. But for other people, it's literally like a daily, let me put my armor on before I go out into the world. That's exhausting. 100%. And no one should have to do that.
And anything that you could possibly do to ease that fear of walking outside, why wouldn't you do it, right? If that means shaving your armpits, if that means diet culture, right? All of these things that do profit off of our insecurities in many ways. Like I understand why you partake in them.
Truly. Oh my gosh. I had a comment just this week. There's a reel that's absolutely kicking off because I went on TV and I said what I believe and I look like this.
Come on.
So therefore it's kicking off.
What did you say?
Oh, I was just talking about why we need more representation in advertising and how we're going backwards from body positivity and where's all the other bodies.
Which isn't even a hot take.
It's not radical. It's not radical in the slightest, right? But obviously there's thousands and thousands of horrible, hateful comments. But one stuck out to me, and appears to be a man who said, wouldn't it be easier to just go on a diet and lose the weight rather than changing the whole of society? And I thought, you've accidentally been very astute. Because yes, sir. Yes,
hence why we
it
do
would.
it.
Yes, exactly. And I am actively choosing the less easy option.
You said purr.
It's kind of iconic.
Yeah. Damn, yes. I would love if you could kind of give us some of the history of your journey with how you came to be someone who can go on national television, confident enough in your body to speak on body image issues, right, and to inspire other people to love who they are. What was your journey to getting here today?
Hell, it was a long and winding road. So the same as most of us listening to this, have grown up within diet culture and within patriarchy. And I started hating my body as early as I can remember, 4 or 5 years old, first days of primary school.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, old. Which isn't even that shocking. Like studies have shown that 3 and 4-year-old girls are aware of their bodies and are aware that thin is good. Because
of like Barbie dolls and stuff, just like the
because
media,
of everything,
or like
because of all the conditioning all around them. So I was dieting by the time I was 8, 9.
Wow.
And that spiraled completely out of control, and I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa when I was 14. I spent a couple of years in and out of hospital and psychiatric units, and kind of got myself to a place where the medical system said that I was recovered, because my body appeared to be recovered. Mentally, I was still in hell.
Yeah. Because anorexia isn't a mental health.
There we go.
No mental health elements to that.
That's a whole. We could get into that. And I went right back to diet culture and to just believing that this, elusive ideal body that I had in my mind was the only way I could be happy and good enough and loved and, all these things that we strive to be. And it wasn't until I was 21 and I was using Instagram just as kind of like a diet blog. I was posting what I was eating. I was doing my progress pictures and stumbled across a small group of people who were talking about body positivity, who were saying, I'm not going to diet anymore, who were saying, I'm fat and I'm fine with it. And it was so jarring to me because it was the first time I had ever heard that said sincerely. I think growing up, if there was a plus size representation or a character, they were the joke.
Or the villain,
exactly. So that was the first time I actually believed it was an option to not hate my body. And I dove into that community and I just started posting about my personal unlearning, and we would like challenge each other to do little things, or like take a picture from this angle and be comfortable with it, or like don't wear your makeup, or just little things and post about them. That was 2015 that started. So yeah, 10 years ago. And then obviously the movement snowballed, became a massive thing. I rolled with it. I just rode the wave.
Became a body positivity icon.
Did the thing, wrote a book. Yeah, spoke all over the world.
Yeah, inspired like millions.
But accidentally, genuinely, just healing myself out loud. And this is what has happened.
Healing myself out loud. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I feel like that's why it actually resonates with people, is because it's not like something you're talking about in theory. It's like people connect to your human story of going through it. And I can imagine now that would you say you're like on the other side of that journey in many ways?
Yes, completely.
Yeah. Like it's so beautiful that you can now sit in your power, sit in your confidence, but you so understand the people who are like, where you were, and you understand how hard it is, and you've been on that journey. People can go through this archive of content. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
What would you recommend to someone who is struggling with their body image, almost like as a step one? We described these challenges that you would take on with people, like maybe trying to go outside without wearing makeup, or in my case, like, can I grow out my armpit hair as this mini revolution? Can you suggest kind of a mini revolution that someone listening could potentially do for
revolution
themselves?
I love that. I think that there are internal revolutions and there are external revolutions. So when we're talking about the first steps that people can take to healing their body image. I think the most important is to recognize that your body image issues are bigger than you, in the sense that you didn't come up with this all by yourself. You know, we carry so much shame around our bodies, and we blame ourselves. If we hate our bodies, it's our fault because we haven't worked hard enough. We don't have the willpower. If we just could force ourselves to look more like the ideal body, then there wouldn't be a problem. No, that's actually completely incorrect. You have always deserved to exist in your body as you are, in all of our glorious diversity. And the problem is not you, it is outside of you. It is what you have been taught to feel about your body. It is the industries that profit billions from us believing that we should hate our bodies because we're disgusting. This is bigger than you, and it's not your fault that you feel the way that you do. So I think the first step is, you know, questioning and learning about the bigger picture, and then forgiving yourself and your body and having that empathy. And then once you have that, you can actually start the proactive external things, whether that is cleansing the heck out of your social media feed and getting rid of everyone that makes you feel bad about the way that you look, you know, changing the things that you're reading, getting rid of the body shaming magazines or like the lose 10 pounds in 10 days articles, things like that, and filling up with some good diverse representation. That is still probably, and it's so simple, but it is still probably the most effective thing that I did on my journey.
Because it's almost addictive, this content, right? Like you're addicted to the challenge and goal of incremental improvement about yourself. And so following these people who are like, oh, you know, you do this simple diet, like you can change something about yourself. It's so, it gets into the part of you that is most insecure and gives you a solution and like a way out.
Yeah. And we don't see any of what's happening outside of just the content that we compare ourselves to, which is wild because, you know, this person who you are comparing your body to and seeing as aspirational, for all you know, they have an eating disorder, or they have a cosmetic surgeon, or they are unwell in some way. All their AI. It just gets harder and harder to know. Yeah.
I think the way that we view our bodies can then start to proliferate in the decisions we make around relationships, insecurity, and other areas of our life as well. And something that you're so honest about in this book, in the section titled Heart, is your experience with different romantic relationships that were quote unquote toxic, and how you would normalize yourself being treated in ways that you would never allow a friend to be treated. And you describe one relationship in particular where he would repeatedly cheat on you, he would say bad things about your body, he wouldn't let you express needs like feeling anxious or wanting certain reassurance, and how you allowed yourself to stay in this relationship. And I would love if you could tell us more about that experience and who you were at that time.
Oh my gosh. I would say in my past relationships, I've always taken issue with the phrase, how can you love someone else until you love yourself? Because I believe that you really can love someone else, even if you do not love yourself. A lot of the time, people who struggle with their self-worth are experts at loving everyone else because we just love people the way that we want to be loved. However, I do believe that you accept the love you believe you deserve. So I would be going into these relationships so ready to give and love so fiercely, so wholeheartedly, but deep down, because I didn't really believe that I was worth that much, I would accept the crumbs and less than I deserved. And, you know, in my first relationship, I still had a really bad relationship with my body when I went into that. And so that played out in that relationship. And I was like, oh, I'm just so grateful that he's with me.
Wow.
And, you know, as I kind of gained weight and my body changed, I'm so grateful that he stayed with me. Wow. And then, you know, in later relationships, it was, I didn't have a very accepting relationship towards my entirety. You know, I still believed I was a problem and my emotions were too much. My needs were too much. You know, I'm naive, all of these unhealed parts of myself, which manifested again in I'm accepting less than I deserve. And also I'm giving people too many chances and falling in love with potential rather than the reality of what they're actually showing me. And I think as women especially, we are so good at that because we want to believe in the potential of people, especially men, We want them.
We have an imagination.
We are creative.
Do be creative. Yeah.
We really
Especially when
do.
we've grown up seeing this like beautiful image of a prince. He's going to sweep me off my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see your crusty boyfriend and he's not giving you much, but you're like, oh, I know that he's trying his best and he's busy and eventually he'll do everything that the prince
Eventually,
does.
one day.
One day. And I can wait.
Yeah. And so I was in a relationship where I was love bombed pretty hard. And at the time, it feels amazing. It feels like, oh my God, this is everything I've ever wanted. This person finally sees me in all of my wonder, loves me so much. I'm being worshipped. Oh my God. It felt so good. The dopamine was hitting. And it took me so long to realize that was love bombing, because that wasn't actually who that person was. That was him pretending to be what he knew I wanted. And laying it on so thick in a way that was completely unsustainable and not the reality then of the rest of our relationship. And what makes it really hard is that when someone does that in the beginning, you spend the rest of the relationship thinking, oh, but it was so good before. We can get back there. We can get back to, but that wasn't real. Yeah. That was never reality. Yeah. And it is so hard to let that go and accept that it wasn't real and actually you were being manipulated.
Yes. Particularly when this person is aware of your insecurities or pain points or what you so deeply desire.
Yes.
Because if they can offer that in little doses, almost like addictive doses, right? Like, oh yeah, okay, I can feel you're pulling away. Let's offer you some reassurance. Let's compliment this thing that I know you don't like about yourself. Let's give you what I know you're craving. And then when I've got you back where I want you, I'll drop it again.
Yes. It's always just enough.
Just enough.
To get you back in and hopeful. Yeah. And then they break it again.
Why is it, you think, that we normalise that for ourselves, but would never normalise that for a friend?
It's a combination of things. I think deep down, a lot of us believe that we are not deserving of stability. And we've also confused chaos and, extreme ups and downs. We've confused that for great romance. And we're shown that everywhere. There are so many love songs that are about, I'm addicted to you, I can't live without you, you destroy me but I need you. And the film tropes of a man literally stalking a woman until she agrees to date him.
It's miserable that we have normalized that as a culture, right?
Literally,
she says no but I won't accept no.
That's what we think love is. That's what we have been taught that love is. And so when we get into that and we find ourselves in one of those roller coaster up and down, super hot, super cold relationships, we're like, finally I'm having my fantasy fairy tale romance. And actually what we're doing is teaching ourselves that we do not deserve stability, safety, and to be loved consistently. And that's what real love is. It's stable, safe, and consistent. And I think we hold on for so long, partly because of the potential and it'll change and he'll get better, and partly because we don't believe we deserve better.
But we do think our friends deserve better.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
How does one begin to believe that they deserve more?
Therapy, hon. To be honest. It's therapy. Yeah. That's partly a joke and partly not, because I've been going to therapy for also 10 years.
Therapy has also been very transformative.
Truly.
Yeah. And I suppose what therapy does is it's asking what are the root causes in your life that make you believe you don't deserve that. And I suppose if you can't access therapy, my first thought is like, so many people are using ChatGPT as a therapist now, and I'm like,
please no.
No, don't do that. If you can't access therapy, I think it's journaling around these questions of who in my life has made me feel small, what experiences in childhood taught me that I don't deserve a healthy, stable love.
Yeah.
And the more that you interrogate that question, hopefully that offering you answers that you can shift in the direction of I do deserve more. But that's hard. It's hard.
And what I think is really important? I think as women, we need to prove to ourselves that we are capable of being alone and of ending the relationship, because we have this narrative that we won't survive it, we'll never get over it, it'll be so hard. As Glennon Doyle says, you can do hard things and you will survive it. You know, my first relationship, it was 8 years of being with that person. So I genuinely
I didn't know that.
couldn't imagine a life without him, because you're so fused at that point, you're so together. And I thought, I will not survive this. This will break me. And you know what? It was just about one of the hardest things I ever did to end that relationship and be alone. But I survived. I got through it. And I could not have become the person that I am now if I had not put myself through that and proved to myself that it would be okay. We need to prove these things to ourselves, not just in relationships, about anything that we're, you know, too anxious or scared or think that we can't do. Just incrementally, just challenge yourself to go outside of your comfort zone and build up that evidence bank in your mind that actually you're going to be okay.
There will be someone listening to this who, after you've just said that, is thinking to themselves, should I really be with my partner? Sometimes you click onto an episode title like, oh, how to take up space, unapologetic, how to be my authentic self, because you know there's something in your life that perhaps is blocking you from being your most authentic self.
Perhaps.
What would you say to that person who has a niggling feeling that they should be treated better and perhaps needs just a final word of courage and encouragement?
Well, I wrote a chapter in the book, and it is called When It's Time to Leave. And it is my experience of carrying on, staying for too long, not leaving when I should have. And I kind of round it up by saying, you know what, nobody else can tell you. I cannot give you that piece of golden wisdom of this is when you should end your relationship. But I don't need to tell you because you know. You actually know. If you've listened to that and there is something inside you, your intuition has flared up and you feel uncomfortable, maybe you feel a bit sick, you don't want to, maybe you don't even want to listen anymore.
Click off.
You know. You know what you need to do, and take your time. There's no judgment in getting to there. But I don't need to tell you anything. I don't need to tell you what to do because you already know.
Gorgeous. Mic drop. That's exactly it. It's hard, but you know. I would love to talk about your new love, your healthy, real love.
Yay.
And I felt very inspired by your experience because you are queer and you are proudly queer online. And as someone who has battled internalized homophobia for 5 fucking years to get to a point where I can proudly say that I'm queer, I can be out to family, and I can have a girlfriend, it is so important to have representation of people like you who exist out and proud and show us what queer joy is. And I'd love to hear more of your experience navigating any potential shame around that sexuality journey and how you came out.
Well, I just didn't think it was a possibility. Like, I didn't think it was an option. You know, I grew up in a very heteronormative culture, didn't see lesbians, or if I did, again, they were a joke or just a thing to entertain men. Section 28 was in force while I was at school. There was absolutely no representation of gay, no alternative families. And I had the fairy tale narrative of my prince will come. And so I was straight, like, duh, I'm just straight. And I carried
just
on.
Like this comforting default.
Yeah. It's just, well, you wouldn't even really question it, would you? And I remember actually, you know, those moments in my early life where I first saw queer women, and I would always think, okay, that's fine for you. Like, I'm not judging you. Cool. But not me. This is not for me. I don't even have to consider that it's for me. And it wasn't until I kind of got to my teenage years and, you know, I experimented a bit, you know, at a party, you kiss your friend, and I always just told...
Oh, come on. That's great.
Yeah, but I always just told myself that that's...
Like, it's just explore, like, it's just jokes. It's like,
it's just for the boy that's there. It's just in front of the boy because he likes it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then I was in an 8-year relationship with a man. So I did not explore my queerness at all. And it was only when that relationship ended that I actually let myself entertain the possibility that maybe I was attracted to women. Because, like, you know, maybe when you're like having sex with a man and actually you're thinking about having sex with a woman, it's a bit of a like telltale, it's a bit of a clue that maybe something...
Oh, maybe I'm not as straight as a ruler.
Gay is happening. So I then let myself kind of slowly explore that. And it was interesting because I had been quite public about my relationship and my relationships with men. And I didn't know how to navigate being online and not being sure yet about that part of my identity. Because I don't know if you felt this over the years, but there's a sense of owing a completely figured out version of yourself
100%.
to the people who follow you and, you know, like care about your journey. But I didn't have it figured out. And it was really uncomfortable allowing myself that space to do that exploring for me and not for anyone else.
So how did you navigate that? Did you kind of let people into any of that journey of sort of figuring out your label or, you know, your sexuality, or was it just you didn't even platform it?
I just did it really bits and pieces. Like, you know, someone did a question box at one point and I was honest on my stories, but then that disappeared after 24 hours. So it was no big deal.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Or then I've like, you know, said that I'm going on a date, but I've said like a gender neutral pronoun.
Ooh.
So, you know, just little bits and
For
pieces.
me, it was even more subtle. It was like soft launch to the max. It was like, I don't even know, a photo of like a pretty bit of rainbow light on the ground, and I put a Girl in Red song over the top. I'm like, and that was my subtle length.
Oh my god!
If you know, you know.
That's so lesbian culture.
Yeah, because Girl in Red was so important to me because it was like you only know if you're also queer or like part of the community, and so it's like, oh, like anyone straight isn't gonna know this reference. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Did anyone from that like figure it out? Like, did you get messages after that?
I did, and I was like, ooh, tea.
Wow.
I loved it.
But that's cute. That's a nice safe, like,
100%.
safe test. Yeah. And then I guess I just started, you know, going to prides.
Did
and,
you? Okay.
you know, posting that I was at prides, and then slowly being like, oh, part of our community rather than the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah. From ally to part of the community.
And then I got a girlfriend, and I was like, hey, this is who I'm dating.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna over explain that. It's yeah, she's a woman and what?
Yeah.
Which is a blessing, and it's such a...
She's your first girlfriend as well.
Yes.
So I can imagine that was like a whole kind of potentially a learning curve journey.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. It's different. It is different.
Yeah.
It's beautifully, wonderfully different. And, you know, the whole coming out thing, I have mixed feelings about it, and I wrote all about it because it's like, it is definitely a massive privilege that we don't have to make a big deal out of it, and that we can just quietly come out and live our lives, and again, not live in fear of harassment or violence because we have done this.
Yes, and I know you mentioned in the book how chill your family were in like a wonderful way. Like, you kind of just went for a walk with your mum, and you were like, oh, I'm dating a girl now, or like something like that, and she's like, oh, good for you,
as long as you're happy.
Did
not care at all.
It's really special.
Yeah, I'm very, very fortunate to have good humans around me who couldn't care less. But also I think when you go through something really, really difficult and life-threatening when you're young, your family then are just like, we're just really happy you're alive.
Wow.
And like, live your life however you want to live your life.
Yeah.
So I think
that's its own privilege of some kind.
yeah. They would definitely not ever try and stop me from being who I am.
That's beautiful. How did you meet your girlfriend? Was it like, I don't know, can you share any tea? Do you want to spill any tea? Like, I want to like, I don't know, I just love like queer stories.
There's not much to spill if I'm
like,
honest.
Were you flirty? Like, how did you know? Did you know that she was queer? Did she know you were queer?
Oh, yeah, I knew of her. And so I met her back when we were both with other people and we just crossed paths at Pride.
Okay, yeah, that's an environment you're like,
could you be a little fruity? And then basically when my relationship ended, I tried to slide in the DMs. I was looking for a rebound. I was not looking to get into another relationship.
Okay.
She was just an incredibly gorgeous, like vibrant woman, and I was like, we could have some fun here. Yeah. And then I fell in love with her immediately, as is the lesbian way.
Did you have like a proper, like, we moved in 2 weeks later?
No, you know what? We've only just moved in together and it's 3 years.
That's very impressive.
However, I would say that after the first date, I texted at least 15 friends being like, I'm in love with this woman.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah.
I just had this like 2-week hazy period of just like, I am so in love, and like literally nothing else exists in this world apart from her.
Yeah. Oh, it's the chemicals are so good.
I know, it's the best thing ever.
Not to be confused with love bombing.
No,
different feelings.
True. You mentioned earlier about what real love feels like, and that it's kind of safe and secure. How do you manage these moments of insecurity or shame coming up in this healthy, loving relationship now? Like, what has kind of being in this secure love taught you?
We talk about it. We talk. I mean, the stereotypes are true. There is so much talking when it's two women, and that is not always the easiest or even the most comfortable. Like, sometimes we sit in discomfort or disagree. It really is just about working as a team to find our way through it rather than working against each other. That is not always easy. Myself and my partner, we have different communication styles. I am actually very avoidant, believe it or not.
Me too.
Hate conflict.
I hate conflict too.
Would rather walk on hot coals than do conflict. But my girlfriend is a very say it, get it out. She's autistic and ADHD and a brummie. So like it's just all comes out.
Yeah,
and then we have to
yeah.
like meet somewhere in the middle and navigate that. Practice, lots and lots of practice, and remembering, we are not against each other. We are actually on each other's team, and let's figure this out.
You kind of need a direct person though, I think, when you're avoidant. Like, you need someone who sort of does bring it up. Like, forces you into the conversation.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so important.
Because then you're like, oh yeah, you're right. If we hadn't have done this, I would have just carried on that resentment for years and years and years.
Exactly.
Correct.
One of the emotions I think drives us to make ourselves smaller is shame. And we briefly touched on the idea of shame throughout this episode, but I would love to dig more into shame. I think shame shows up in different ways. Shame can come as part of making a mistake or taking an action that causes hurt, and in some ways shame is important as an emotion to take accountability. But I think a lot of the shame that you're talking about in the book is shame around kind of who we are, insecurity, not feeling like we deserve more, and not feeling like we're enough. And I'd love if you could talk to me more about your journey with shame and kind of how shame feels in your body as well. How do you notice shame?
That is such a great question. When you were saying that, it made me think of a book called Is Shame Necessary? And it was written by this, I think, psychologist or
Someone wise.
super smart person, and she made a distinct difference between guilt and shame, and she said that guilt is appropriate and necessary when you've done something wrong, but shame is something that lives inside you or is planted inside you and is insidious, and it's not, it's not the motivator to be better. It just takes and like makes you small, makes you shrink yourself. I have always been super susceptible to shame. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I mean, I'm a very sensitive person. Perhaps that is why. And I'm very like, I very easily believe that I'm the problem, if there is a problem. Because if it's within me, you almost have that element of control of, well, if I'm the problem, I can fix it. And then you just absorb that as your narrative of, I'm the problem, I will take care of it, I will change me. So I have always, felt shame about various different parts of who I am. A lot of body shame, a lot of shame around my emotional needs being too much, a lot of sexual shame that I've had to unlearn. So to me, shame in the body, it feels like everything is being compressed and shrunk down and contracted, and it literally makes me like want to just curl up into a ball and just hide my face and hide my head and just be tiny and quiet. And don't get me wrong, some days I still need to do that. Sometimes I actually need to crawl into bed and be tiny and not say anything and just be there. But breaking out of it is just this like expansion of this literal take up space, because shame cannot exist if you are big, if you refuse to make yourself small. I think I'm still working on, letting go of different elements of shame. Also, our world is constantly trying to put more shame onto us.
So true.
Because again, shame is profitable and shame is advantageous to the people in power.
Because they can present an antidote and they can keep us small.
Or just keep us preoccupied with something so that we don't notice what fuckery they're doing.
Do you think that shame is something we can unlearn alone? Or do you think it always needs someone else to help walk through that shame with us, or provide like loving words to help us move through it?
I think it has to be both. The love and acceptance of community is so powerful and can show you the way, but then I think you have to do the internal work yourself. I don't think one can exist without the other, because there's that thing of like, well, your friend can love you so much and think you're the best person ever, and you can still hate yourself and think that you're the worst.
Yes.
So it has to be a two-part equation, I think.
Yeah.
Do you?
I've been navigating like a lot of unpacking shame myself. So this is why your book also feels so timely to be reading. For me, it's almost felt like essential that I have people like shining light and love onto these areas of shame, because for me, it literally, as you say, it's like a tightening. It makes me feel so small, and I need help to like open again and to take up that space, and I can't do it alone. So I guess it's like someone has to help open that door, and then you can like sit in that doorway and like learn about it more yourself. But it is hard. It's really hard. And in my experience, it's like there's always more to unpack. I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing therapy for years. Oh my God, I can have like body hair and feel fine about it. But like, oh, I still have a lot of like sexual shame I need to unpack. And it's a constant journey. And so I love that you also highlighted that you're still on this journey too, because I think it's very easy for us as people with microphones to come here and like be the people with answers. But for everyone listening to know that it's just like a constant journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That will change with the world as well.
Yes, for sure. You're very honest in your book about your experiences with sexuality and how that was one of the main avenues through which shame showed up in your life. I would love if you could walk us through kind of your experience of who you thought that you needed to be in bedroom settings versus how you now view sex.
I thought that sex was a performance that I could put on for the man that was present. I thought that my needs or my wants and desires were absolutely irrelevant. All that mattered was that he was satisfied and he had a good time. And if I had done that, then I could be like, yeah, I'm good in bed. And I could have that little
ego
affirmation.
moment.
Yes, that validation from having done that. And I did that for years, like not even questioning whether that was the way to have good sex or not.
In a relationship or in casual settings?
Both, all of them. Probably every sexual interaction I had until maybe like my late 20s went that way. Yeah.
Because none of the men in these settings are gonna...
They're not going to complain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But also, again, this is what we are taught as women and girls, not only in sexual scenarios, but just in life. We are there to facilitate the wants and needs of everyone else and of men, to care for, to nurture, to make everyone else's lives easier, to, you know, put our own needs on the back burner, serve everyone else first. And so, of course, that shows up in the bedroom. Of course it shows up in our sex lives. It's all about everyone else first and not about us. And also, we're not taught to get to know our own bodies. So how the hell are we supposed to know what we like or what we want? It's literally shameful. You know, boys grow up joking about masturbation and watching American Pie. Girls are like, don't even
talk about menstruation.
Exactly. Have a code word for like, we don't touch, we don't talk about, it's wrong, it's taboo, scandalous. So how are we supposed to show up as whole humans when we get to having sex with people? Like, how are we supposed to advocate for our wants? We don't know our wants. How are we supposed to speak up when something isn't comfortable? We don't want to be an inconvenience. It's a recipe for disaster, and it's a recipe for inauthentic experiences. And that's what I had for the majority of my life. It wasn't until actually I started having queer sex that I was able to be in an environment where it seemed that everyone's needs were valid and of equal importance.
Because the whole script, the classic script of sex, doesn't exist in queer sex. Because we're taught in heteronormative sex, there's maybe a bit of foreplay, hopefully. Okay, right, let's hope that this man is going to be all right in bed. But the goal here is to get this guy to come, and then we're done.
End of.
And like, well, he's got some hormones that are going to make him sleepy, and so I guess that's it, it's over.
Right.
And then you'll just sit there and like maybe touch yourself, finish yourself off, but like that's it, right?
Yeah. I've literally crept myself to bathrooms in the dead of the night to finish myself.
Real. Honestly, I think that's a very common experience.
Yeah, that should
and
not
again,
be
we
a
don't
thing.
talk about it, but
Shouldn't
like
be a thing.
it's really common. And then in queer sex, it's like, okay, what's the end point?
Yes, yes.
If we're not working towards a goal of one person generally having an orgasm, then it's like it just becomes this entire playful experience that can go in so many directions. And I think it's really healing. Like from my experience, it's so healing. I'm so glad that it was for you. And I wonder like how listeners can heal their relationship to sex if they're not queer.
Well,
because it's so difficult. I think it is a partnered healing experience too.
Definitely.
You know, as you say, there's part of the shame that you need to unpack and unlearn alone, but then you need to show up in a very intimate, vulnerable space with someone who potentially hasn't done that unpacking themselves, who still has a script that a lot of other people have followed with them too. How do you invite that power into that environment of advocating for yourself and your needs?
You know what I'm going to say first and foremost? Women need to stop having sex with sexist men.
Oh.
We actually just need to stop allowing misogynistic men who don't respect us access to our bodies. And you know what? I have had plenty of one night stands with absolute pricks.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's validating.
And arrogance and cockiness. There's something almost attractive about it because we're taught that the fuckboy in movies is someone attractive.
Exactly. There's a butterfly in here.
Oh,
Hello.
that is a really lovely omen.
Oh.
Have you ever had a butterfly fly in during a shoot before?
I've never done a podcast in a year. Wow. So if you are trying to have a sex life where you get to show up as a whole person, you have to be with someone who is going to allow you to be a whole person and see your humanity, see your needs and validate them and allow space for them.
Yeah.
If that's not your goal, then keep having sex with the fuckboys and the misogynists. Like,
because it's as simple as, if you are not enjoying sex, you should always feel empowered to say, can we stop? And I actually think that that's something so simple that women don't feel that they can often ask for because their emotions are not viewed as like necessary or important in that setting. And so, as you say, to honor someone's wholeness is to honor that they might, get tired halfway through, or just like not be feeling it, or just need something and need to be nurtured in some way. And so if the space has not been created for that nurturing, then should you really be there?
yeah. And then, the other thing is, babe, masturbate.
Yeah.
You need to get to know yourself and what you like and what you don't like, and then be with someone who you feel comfortable enough to share that with.
That's mic drop moment there. Masturbate, full stop.
It's so healing. It is so healing.
So healing.
And it's literally, babe, it's your body.
Yeah.
You can touch, do whatever you
Yeah.
want with your body. You should never have been convinced that was shameful, or that like that doesn't belong to you.
Any natural experience of your body cannot be something shameful, cannot be something wrong, right?
Speak on
If
it.
you could literally just put your finger right onto a part of your body and experience like positive feelings from that, why is that wrong? I don't understand like how we have been conditioned to believe that is wrong.
Oh my God, fun thing though.
Come on.
You know that like witches back in the day, part of what made people so like against them and convinced people that a woman was a witch was if she had sex and enjoyed sex, and they used to say witches were having sex with the devil. Like they're so brazen with their sexuality.
Wow.
So yeah, if you were a sex positive woman back in the day, you're a witch.
How does it feel to now be a witch?
To be a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good, man.
Feels great.
I would recommend.
I love the reclamation of witch culture.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I'm such a tarot card girly. I mean, we're sitting in a yurt, I'm very witch coded.
It's very witchy here.
Yeah. And I think back in the day, it wasn't that witches were magic, right? It's just that they were women who defied patriarchal norms and therefore were so terrifying that they were made out to be mythical creatures that were threatening. And I think that is a wonderful metaphor for a lot of ailments in society.
Truly.
So proud to be witches.
Yay.
I think so much of your book is in the past tense, and I would love to bring us to present, Megan. Do you ever still feel the urge to prioritise being liked over honouring yourself?
Yes. Because I am a woman who exists on the internet and I've made a career out of social media for the past 10 years.
And essentially it is your job to
be
remain
liked
liked
to an extent.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's literally a like button.
Yeah, it's real tricky to separate those two. I do still struggle with it. Not in the sense that I am willing to sacrifice who I am or my wholeness in order to be liked, but just in that, I guess, maybe a sense of grief, because I spent so much of my life trying to perfect likability and study, you know, how to be likable as a woman, and don't be too much of this, don't be too much of that, and have that sweet spot and smile at everyone, and that's, people will like you. And letting that go is almost a loss of control, and accepting that other people's opinions of you are not in your control and are not your business. That's really difficult for someone who's a self-confessed control freak and recovering perfectionist, to let that go and accept that people are not going to like me if I am being myself. There is an element of grief involved in that, but it is outweighed by the payoff of authenticity, because I get to go to bed at night and say I like who I was today. I showed up as my full self, and that is actually enough, regardless of what anyone else thought. And you know, what people think of us is not formed on a blank slate. It's not neutral. It is so informed by all of their prejudices, stereotypes, whether they're having a bad day, you know, what their projections, what they are putting onto us.
100%.
So other people's opinions of us generally are not trustworthy and shouldn't be what we form the basis of our own self-image on. And that's a two-way street. You know, I think all of us probably could be a little less quick to judge the people around us, or think we know who that person is, or we know their intentions, or who they are, because everyone is more complex than we know. And if you want other people to see you as complex and, you know, not one thing or the other, you also need to extend that same energy to others.
I struggle with this a lot myself as a person of the internet. And I'm intrigued, when you go to post something, do you have someone in mind that you're almost posting to?
Ooh.
Or because I think when we walk through the world, as someone who's a people pleaser, as someone who can tailor themselves to many different personalities, there's almost a code switching that could occur, right? But when you're talking to a mass of people, how do you know that you are able to be liked by that mass? Like, who are you imagining? What is the story that you almost are telling of who you are to these people?
Well, I think this is the problem, because for a long time, I was tailoring my content to the people who I assumed already didn't like me.
Interesting.
Because, you know, I have been in this game for a long time, and there have been many people who have not liked me, called me this, called me that, tried to cancel me even over the years. And those people have lived up here, and it is really hard to not think about them when I go to make that content and think, what are they going to think about what I'm putting out there?
Yeah.
So lately,
Which would come with like a defensive tone or a persuasive tone.
Or just way too much censoring, way too much self-censoring and editing down, and fear, being scared to say anything. And lately I have been trying to shift back into the assumption that the majority of the people who follow me actually want good things for me.
Yeah.
Actually don't hate me. I mean, there's some hate followers, but like the majority, want me to be okay. And that is a real like freeing thing, because you might still be misunderstood or disagreed with, or this or that or the other. The permission to just be you, and that will be okay. What have you found most helpful in the letting go of the fear?
I really like the phrase, energy goes where attention flows. And so I try and think of the part of my audience that I actually want to pour energy into. And it's like, it's not the 1% of haters, it's the 99% of people who are just very normal, wonderful humans who I want to connect with on a human level. And I think what's really helpful for me is when I am recognised by people in person, or I get to have conversations with followers in person, then I'm constantly reminded who they actually are. And I try and hold that in my mind when I'm creating, because when I'm meeting like a lovely 16-year-old girl on the street who's telling me how I've helped her with her GCSEs and helped her embrace her queerness, you know, like she's not gonna hate on me. She wants the best for me. So that's who I'm trying to speak to.
Yeah. And those people often aren't the loudest online.
True.
You know, they're taking it and they're appreciating all of it,
Yeah.
but they're not necessarily going to be shouting in your
Yeah.
comments the way that the 1%
Yeah,
of haters are.
100%. As we slowly come to a close, I would love if you could just give a final piece of advice for anyone who is listening to this and likely is feeling very inspired because it's you, but still knows that they do shrink themselves in many settings. How would you invite them to take up more space unapologetically?
I think what could be helpful, especially for your people, because I know you journal a lot and you encourage people to journal a lot, right? I like to have an idea of the woman who I see myself as in the future. And when I think about this, I think about being this completely comfortable, completely open, warm, accepting, you know, woman who invites you into her house, who'll give you a beautiful, nourishing like meal, make you feel comfortable and safe. And I cannot become that woman if I continue to make myself small for everyone else's comfort. That is who I'm headed towards. And I can only get there if I heal myself, am kind to myself, and then that is going to radiate out to all the people around me. So who do you want to be? Who do you want to be in the world, babe? Do you want to walk with your head held down and not meet people's gaze, accept less than you deserve, be in relationships that aren't reciprocal, hate your body? Do you want that for yourself and for the rest of your life? Because you've got one, and now is as good a time as any to start moving towards a different narrative for yourself.
Wow, that was a pep talk. That was amazing.
Who do you see as your future self that you're growing into?
I'm still working out what I want my life architecture to be like, but I really want to live in community. Like, I'm the girlie who wants to live in a commune with like like garden and friends, and I see myself as a safe space for strangers. Like, I hope that anyone who crosses my path will in some way have their day improved, whether it's just like a smile or like a little bit of warmth. I hope that I am always a good friend, someone who friends can feel they can come to me with anything and I will never judge them, no matter like, maybe they've killed a person. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I'll sit in that with them. I really want to be an amazing mother. Like, that really matters to me. Yeah. So I think a lot about being like a strong feminine presence. And I think I've grown up a lot in like the classically masculine energy. I mean this in a very spiritual girly way, not in like a men are ambitious way, but like masculine energy in spiritual circles is like kind of more action oriented and doing and results driven. And I think a lot of my teenagehood I've sat in that. I am on a journey of owning kind of this more feminine energy that's about being and like presence and valuing my feelings and emotions. So yes, I hope to be a strong feminine presence.
Yay, and you already are, bitch.
Oh, thank you.
Other than everything you just said, other than being a mother, unless you count like your audience. You
I
are
can
mother.
be mother.
Yeah.
Thanks. No, thank you. We have a final little tradition. I would love to ask you, what has been a moment of casual magic for you this week?
There are so many. A butterfly just flew into the studio whilst we were recording, if that's not casual magic. I mean, it's so hard to pick one. Okay, last night I was on the tube coming back home quite late, and me and this other lady came out of this tube station at the same time and kind of just gravitated towards each other. And then she said to me, "Can I just talk to you because you look safe? And you have cool trousers." and we're walking alone at night. And I was like, of course, it is my absolute honor. I would yes, let's just have a little chit chat. And then
You achieved my dream to be a safe space.
And then she was just lovely. And then I was like, my car's here. Do you want a lift? And she was like, "Oh no, bless you. But I'm literally just going around the corner. But like, nice to walk with you."
Namaste.
So cute. I love women.
I love women. Women are the best. That's so cute.
Isn't it?
Also, again, you know, so many people are scared of strangers. But I think often if you are open to the magic of these little encounters, you just remember people are so good. Like, I feel like inherently people are just loving and want to connect and want the best for you. And yeah, I'm so glad you got to experience the casual magic of that.
Yay.
Yay. And for everyone listening, at the end of every episode, I invite you to complete some journal prompts based on today's theme. So if you feel called to, feel free to grab a notebook or your notes app, or just feel free to pause this and answer the questions in your head. This week, I want to ask you, where in my life do I shrink myself? Do I do this to make others feel comfortable? When was the last time I let myself be fully seen? How did it feel? And if you'd like to, please finish this thought. When I am fully in my power, I... ... The ... is for you to fill in. Who are you when you're fully in your power? Thank you guys so much for tuning in for yet another episode of Finding Your Casual Magic. It genuinely means the world that you have just come into this little safe space yurt from all over the world. Like some of you, I get messages from you guys. Some of you will be doing your laundry. Some of you will be commuting through a city, taking on the world. And I think it's so beautiful to imagine all of us connected by this conversation that we've gotten to have. It has been an honour to share this space with you, Megan.
Same.
Thank you so much for your wisdom.
Thank you, darling.
Genuinely. And if no one has told you guys today, I just want to remind you that you are enough. You are enough exactly as you are. Whether you feel like you're making yourself small, you don't feel like your most confident self yet, whether you've achieved all your dreams and ambitions yet or not, you are enough exactly as you are, and I accept you and I love you. Sending you so much love through this little mic. Have a gorgeous rest of your day.
Stay tuned and stay magical.